Thanks be to God.
I love you. I hate you. I am proud of you. I'm disappointed in you. Everything is good right now. Something is wrong. Words hold the power of life and death. They can make or break our days, our weeks, our years. They shape how we view life, how we view others, and how we view ourselves. Words can be a blessing, or they can be a curse. This month, we are talking about the book of James. Last week, Pastor Emily introduced us to the series, Living Faith, talking about faith that not only talks the talk, but also walks the walk. She asked us, what does it mean for our lives to be changed and shaped by our faith in Jesus? Today, I think we're answering one part of that question. For our lives to be changed and shaped by Jesus, our words must be used as blessing rather than cursing. Our words should build up the body of Christ rather than tear others down. In this passage that we are looking at today, James chooses to focus on the tongue as a metaphor for what we say. The language we use and the words we say act as a representational catalyst. It is a small thing that makes big things happen. Language has world-creating capacity. It can create metaphorical worlds or distort them. Words hold the power of life and death. On the one hand, words and language are a blessing. Consider creation. Humans were created in God's likeness and given the ability to create. They were given the ability to communicate. Then, humans were given the power and the responsibility of naming all the creatures. It is because of this ability to use words that humans are given this honor. One author states, "The first and the most distinctive gift given to humans is the power to name, the power to create language, and by creating language, also to continue God's own creating activity in the world. Words can create. Words can give life. This has been modeled to me by some of the mentors in my life. When I speak and someone responds, "I hear you, and that makes a lot of sense," or "I'm proud of you," or "Wow, you have really great ideas," it changes the way I see myself. It creates a world in which I am heard and I am accepted. I am sure that you have experienced this from someone in your life. This may be someone that you are close to, who helps build you up on the tough days. Or maybe this is a person with a spiritual gift of encouragement who loves to cheer you on. The words people use can change our whole perspective. Language can create belonging, love, and life to others and to ourselves. On the other hand, language does not always bless people. It can also curse them. To curse a fellow human being is to do the opposite of what God created language for. Language was to be able to communicate and to create, not destroy and tear down. If language has world-creating capacity, then words have the power to create both good worlds and bad worlds. The real peril is when we choose to distort the worlds of meaning in which truth is suppressed. When we choose to curse our neighbor, we distort their world to be something that God had never intended. I am sure many of us have been in these situations as well. At one of my previous jobs, I had a manager who used the power of words to do harm. I would be running a shift, trying to control all of the business going on in the restaurant. She would yell at me things like, "You're not doing a good enough job," or "I can't believe this is what I have to deal with." That was not even including the gossip that she said behind my back, or the sarcasm that she would use to speak to other workers. My perspective of myself and of my workplace was distorted because of my manager's words. Maybe you've had a similar work experience, or maybe a friend or a family member has used language to destroy your world. When people use language to curse, it can hurt us. One author states, "Failure to control speech is the antithesis of authentic religion. When we cannot control what we say, we do injustice to those around us. This is not only regarding speech that harms our neighbors, but also untruthful speech. When we promise to do something and then we don't do it, we also curse those we speak to. If our actions do not back up our words, then the words we say are meaningless." Consider many of the people who avoid going to church. Many times we blame them. We wonder if church just isn't fun enough anymore, or if the generation just doesn't seem to care about God. But the most frequent reason given by those who steer clear of churches is the duplicity of Christians. The Christians who claim to love everybody, but then spread hatred. The Christians who claim to be following God, but then harm their neighbor. The Christians that claim that they want to do the right thing, but then act differently. At times, me. Perhaps at times, you. James states here that double-tongued Christians are impossible. You either bless God and bless others, or you curse God and you curse others. You cannot bless God and curse humans. It is unnatural. It is not possible. Here, he is challenging the casual attitude that many people take regarding speech. Speech matters. It has the capacity to create life or the capacity to destroy it. We must watch what we say and how we speak to others. A question you might have at this point in the sermon is, what, should we just not communicate then? If language is so dangerous, then maybe we should avoid it. And that is what the ancient Mediterranean world believed. There was a consensus that silence was better than speech. They believed that hearing, not speaking, was the pathway to wisdom. Speaking, if necessary, should be brief. The mark of a wise person was to control their speech. But I don't think that's what James is saying here. If words have the power to give life and to create worlds, then we must continue to communicate. We preserve the language of faith. Words give us the ability to process, the tools to discuss God, and the path to build each other up. Denying the opportunity to communicate is foolish. Rather, we must watch what we say and how we use language. It all comes down to this: to love God and to love our neighbors is the way to wisdom. Last week, Pastor Emily talked about doing something concrete to show love to a member of this community. She asked us to write it down and put it on our nightstand or a mirror or somewhere that we would see it often. This was an opportunity to live out our faith in concrete ways because our lives should be shaped by our faith in Jesus. This week, the challenge is similar. Write down someone in your life who needs encouragement. This might be someone you know who's going through a difficult time. Maybe you need to specifically watch your words with a spouse or your child. Maybe you have had a difficult time encouraging those you work with, or a difficult time not gossiping about someone. Maybe you need to work on how you speak to yourself. But don't just stop there. Don't just stop with the one person that you write down. Do not stop with simply not cursing those in your life. Take it a step further and work on blessing people. Use your words as a blessing this week, towards God, towards yourself, and towards your neighbors. Words are powerful. They can create or destroy worlds. They can be used to bless and build someone up, or they can be used to curse and tear someone down. This week, choose to bless. Choose to bless when someone cuts you off in traffic, someone yells at you at work, when someone disappoints you, and when someone challenges you. Choose to speak life rather than curses. Words hold the power of life and death. Which will you choose this week? Please join me now in our hymn of response, number 454, Open My Eyes That I May See. You may stand, and we are going to sing verses 2 and 3 this morning.